Hello, welcome to my blog. My class recently took a trip to the Milwaukee Public Museum, and we studied the effects of culture and environment on posture and gait. So I will be looking at how culture influences posture and the effects that environment has on gait. So when considering how one's culture can affect one's posture, I came to the thesis that an individual's posture is influenced by customs or ways of life or thinking to the extent that it can be generalized to cultures. So this is actually one of the first things I came across, and it's about a family from the Kwakiutl village in British Columbia. And you can see here they're gathering food and preparing to cook the food. So just looking at their posture, the woman on the left, she seems to be cutting a fish, but the way she's doing it, she's in a deep squat. Her neck is in kyphosis, so this could lead to just the angle of her head could lead to hypertonic neck flexors and hypotonic neck extensors. She has increased thoracic kyphosis, and it looks like her line of gravity falls anterior to where it's supposed to based on the posture that she's assuming. So this anterior line of gravity can put extra pressure on joint capsules, and also the fact that we can notice almost everything is very flexed in this. So her neck, her hips, and her knees, everything is in flexion. Today, most of America, 86% of Americans have a desk job where they sit all day. Usually this involves being on the computer with arms flexed forward. Often the shoulder blades are protracted and the shoulder will be internally rotated. The position is similar to that of the woman in the previous picture. The typical American adult has varying severity of kyphosis, a forward head, and slouched shoulders. And this is due to typically just how they sit every day and how they work. And I thought it was interesting to make the connection that between different cultures you can see the same postural issues, but it's for different reasons. One's for cooking dinner and preparing for dinner, and the other is just a day job that they have to do throughout the day. So as we can see, bad posture habits carry throughout many years, and even though it may be due to different reasons, you may see the same postural deficiencies cross-culturally. At the Milwaukee Public Museum, I also noticed that the environment seemed to play a role on gait, and I first noticed this while viewing the Eskimo exhibit. And I theorized that the environment, and more specifically the weather of the environment, will affect the gait of the inhabitants. So the fact that it would be so much colder where they live means that they'll have to bundle up. And as you can see in the picture, they're wearing large layers of clothing over them just so they can stay warm enough so they don't freeze. But this, if you can imagine, like when you were little and your mom would bundle you up for the winter and put like way too many layers on you, that causes limited movement in your joints, specifically the hip, shoulder, and knee, which are really important for walking. The fact that they would be walking on snow and ice all the time means that they would probably decrease their stride and step length so that they could have more stability and they're less likely to slip as they touch the ground. So with this, you would have less flexion and extension and more of walk in a waddle. Also, the temperature is very important because walking with cold muscles, you'll have less contractility than you would with warm muscles, so you can produce less force than usual. Comparing this to today's culture in America, the weather usually isn't that cold, although it seems like it can be in Wisconsin sometimes. But we usually don't experience as many gait differences as they would in the freezing temperatures up where the Eskimos. I think this took the posture and gait that we learned about in class out of the classroom, and it really showed us how it can be applicable in real life and not just for the reasons that are biomechanical, but the culture and environmental reasons need to be examined too. So as a future physical therapist, I will use this along with my deductive reasoning for issues with while assessing gait and posture.